Take this. Welcome everybody to Marketing Momentum with Charles and Deborah. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Deb. Hi, everybody.
I'm so trying not to. I've done this before where it's like, okay, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. The more I say don't say that, it's like, well, I really want to say that.
You get ready to say it, right? Yeah.
Hey, have you noticed? Okay, I know this isn't our topic. I'm just springing this on you, Charles, but I'm supposed to be a hangout queen and have all this figured out for each, OS and each. I haven't done it on Linux yet. I need to do that. But each browser and everything. But has your Hangout toolbox changed, or is it just because I reinstalled it?
No, it
Wait,
is
that
it
didn't
is
make sense.
different now. It looks different.
Okay, because I was commenting. It took me longer to set up this afternoon, and it's almost like it predates when we first started Marketing Momentum.
It does, right? Yeah. I'm wondering if they're trying to get it to work with the G Suites thing. Who knows?
Oh, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. I was almost theorizing. I'm sure this isn't true, but I was theorizing that let's say that Google went out and hired a third party. Okay, I can't handle this. My computer over there has a swimming pig on it. I'm still it's this website this guy has me writing for that has literally this huge sow swimming swimming pool. All right, now that you guys can't see that and I'm describing it and you think that I seriously am on something, I'm not. Okay, back to the Google Hangout toolbox. But just a theory, I'm sure it's not true, but it would fit this scenario is if they hired a third party that developed what we knew as, like, Charles, if we go back to when we started Marketing Momentum, which
Yep.
already, wow, that was years ago. And that was pretty sophisticated compared to what they have now. But let's say that company said, hey, Google, you're not paying the bill. We're not doing this for you anymore. And Google
Oh yeah.
said, we're going to develop our own. And so they're kind of looking at what they had and they're developing it from scratch. It's like they're 6 months away from what they had when we started.
Yeah,
If
yeah. It
anyone can
looks,
follow it.
yeah, it looks very similar. But I'm guessing, I'm wondering if they're trying to bring everything under the whatever their new $5 thing that people can pay for.
Ah, okay. Now, see, your theory makes a whole lot more sense, and it's a lot easier to
I
understand.
don't, yeah, I don't know if it does. Yeah.
But it does, because even I'm thinking about even just web design. Stop me before I go off on some programming thing. But when you go to improve something, sometimes you have to take it back to kind of that base level and rebuild it back up.
hmm
Okay,
Yeah,
now that
yeah, and well, yeah, and they, I guess, what in design, it's all supposed to be all about, clean and less is more, and
oh yeah,
uh,
I will spare you some of the nightmares I went through this week, but I did an upgrade and it broke stuff, and which isn't a problem for me except it takes time. But it's like, wow, this is some bad code. Not the upgrade, but some other code
oh yeah,
plugins. See, I'm not picking on anyone, but like some WordPress plugins, bless their heart, they develop some developers great with the concept, but the code is like really messy, and then you try and figure out why your website looks so bad, and it's like because you shouldn't have installed that plugin.
right, right, no, exactly, right, and it looks good when you get it installed and it works, but then you do anything else to it and then it goes sideways.
Oh yes, exactly. I just deleted like half the bottom page, and then everything was fine. We have no contact
Find
part at
everything
the
right,
bottom.
yeah,
That's okay. It works. Okay, back to the real topic, and that is, what was it? The tude on the net. Okay, that didn't even make sense.
yeah,
I said the attitude on the internet. There we go. I asked Charles via Skype, so see, he hasn't even had a chance to answer yet because I just asked him, and now we're going to hear his live answer to this question. But have you noticed any difference in attitude as far as I'm thinking back to, let's say, like 2013? I think is when I really noticed this excitement and new things, and I think that's when the help out started with Google. Not to make this all about Google, but hey, Google, we love you because you're giving us this platform. But there's just new things. Udemy was coming out, and everyone was thinking, hey, I can make a buck over here, I could do this.
right,
That's what I sensed, and I don't know if that's just my point of view, but now here we are, we're at the end of 2017, and people are almost like yawning is what it seems like. And it's like, well, this thing that used to make us money isn't making money. We're not seeing anything new on the horizon. Or if we do, is it going to be like Sue? Remember, everyone was excited about Sue,
right,
and all
yeah.
of a sudden, that's not on anymore. All these things are they're coming on, and before a year goes by, they're gone. I feel like that's reaching the attitude of the people. Okay, Charles, all yours.
Yeah, no, I think people are now kind of settling in with you know I don't want to say the reality of it, but kind of um, what it really means to do stuff on the internet every day. And so I think where you had everybody who were just excited to, to go to Facebook. And I think now, now people are living with the reality. And so people who are really sort of into it, they're sort of still into it. People who were kind of checking it out and thought it was exciting. Well, they've kind of moved on, right? They've kind of moved back on to their lives. And then, I mean, I think there are people that are just that are just never going to really trust the digital technology. And I mean, quite frankly, I mean, they've got a good reason, right? They've got good reason to feel that way. I was reading something by Dan Kennedy, and he was saying, and this was written, yeah, he's a good dude, right? He was written back in, I don't know, maybe in the early 2000s. He was telling small business owners in their local area, he said, look, before you go sinking money in the digital advertising, this was even before it got big. He said, make sure you understand, all these other things. Make sure you understand your unique selling proposition. Make sure you understand, where your traffic's coming from. Make sure you understand all this stuff, because you can sink a lot of money into online advertising. That was before Facebook ads or any of that stuff. And so now, come full circle, there's just an article, I think, I don't know, it was recently, and I don't remember the exact company. I think it was Uber, right? So Uber sued, I think it's something called Fetch, and they sued them because they said, well, we tested like all these installs we were getting. We somehow know that they ran a test, and then they got rid of the advertiser, and then they got the same number of installs of their app. So they're saying,
so what are we getting?
Okay, so what are we paying for, right? So what are we really paying for? And I think they're going to be, I think in the next, I don't know how many other years, but we're now going through this period of like the real reality. So what's real when it comes to what the internet can do, whether or not it's solo people like us, or whether or not it's these big corporations who are saying, okay, we're going to spend a lot of money, we're going to throw all this money at digital. What can it really do? And I think a lot of the big outfits now, they're now questioning that. They're now saying, okay, what does it mean that we get all these clicks? What does that mean? Are we getting bots? Are we getting real results? And so I think that is really what's happening. We're sort of in this phase where people are now no longer, as you said, excited just because we have a website, just because we're getting clicks, just because we're getting traffic. Now people are saying, I want to be able to and it's more than measurement, right? It's not about measurement. It's more like you should be able to, people are saying, well, if I take a step back from this, can I see the extra sales? Is there more money coming as a result of this?
So basically, they're looking for that ROI. You know how I love to say ROI, but that ROI would really, I mean, obviously that's, lead conversions, sales. There's all these different pieces kind of the, and funnel. ROI might be my word. Funnel is for Charles, but going through the funnel to actually get money out of someone, and then the OTO 1, the OTO 2, whatever, But it does come down to, at the end of the day, what's the ROI? What are we paid in advertising, and what are we getting as far as the profits after all of the expenses and everything we're paying? And that makes a lot of sense, that people are almost sobering up. I'm not saying they were drunk before, but I mean, kind of, it's sober reality.
I think people are now doing almost, I mean, they say in copywriting, you're supposed to do a blur test. Like you're supposed to look at the copy, you're supposed to blur your eyes, and you should be able to look at the copy. You should be able to tell exactly what it's about. Even if you can't fully see it, you should be able to look at it blurry, and it should be so obvious. And I think that's what sort of people are doing with this, right? They're now taking a step back, and they're just doing a broad brush, not even looking at the full numbers, just saying, hey, is our life, is our company better as a result of this stuff we're doing on the internet? Is it better? Right? And some people are questioning whether or not the answer is yes. For some folks, it's unequivocally yes. Right? But we don't know whether or not those people are true believers, and they would think that anyway. Right? They probably think that anyway, regardless of what it is. But I think some people are just saying,
full rainbow.
Right, yeah, exactly. You're taking a step back and saying, man, am I making more money? Basically. Am I, do I really have more time? Is the income really passive? Basically, not like, if I think about it this way, yeah, it's not, it's just kind of like, well, is it really happening? And if it's not, then you're saying, okay, well, if that's the case, then what should we be doing?
That's a really good point right there. I think I've said it before on Marketing Momentum, but Charles, when I've looked at some of the most successful things I've done, they're almost things I haven't done or I've accidentally done, or all of a sudden I get a Google alert and something or other is taking off, and there's like 1,000 views on a particular video, and it's like, that's not my best video.
Right? Yeah.
Overnight, why are there 1,000 people looking at it and I'm not advertising or something? And I'm finally learning to really like piggyback on my own accidental success. Maybe that's something that's tweetable. Maybe I'll tweet that as a suggestion. Piggyback on your own accidental success. But it seems like the stuff I put the most time into is the stuff that flops or whatever. So it's like, where's that secret sauce? The secret sauce is there, but sometimes the secret sauce isn't what we think it is.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's kind of like we're I think still coming out of what is it, the industrial age, where you sort of have formulas, you have factories, and to some degree, it's hard for us to not think that way. And so that really is kind of what information still kind of fits that mold. Even good, instructional, good blogs, good information products, good podcasts, they still sort of fall into this. There's a formula. We can figure it out. We can tell you. We can sort of track. We can kind of go back. And I don't know if it's always true that we can think of things in a formula, that there is something that if I tell you what X plus Y plus Z is, you can go and replicate X plus Y plus Z. Because I think, as you said, we don't really know what X is. We don't really know what went into, we don't know what you did to the video that caused it to go crazy. I have a video on my channel that's how to, and I'm not a YouTube expert, right? And this is how to add something to your channel. It's got the most views, right? The most views I ever, I mean, all the stuff. It was just a goofy video that I did that it wasn't very good. It was just kind of, I kind of felt like, and I think I did it for somebody who asked me a question. And so
oh my goodness, those are the best.
Yeah, it is, right? And so you have, I think, these formulas and that we're sort of used to, and they're supposed to work. And I think that's what people are sort of jaded, right? They said, they kind of came into this thinking, okay, it works just like everything else. I got to find the right formula. Once I find the right formula, then I follow that formula and it's going to work. And sometimes we, right, in the industry, we feed into that because we teach people formulas. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think information works the same way as things, right? There are just too many variables. If I have a widget, right, there's only so many ways I can hammer this into a cup. There's one way I can do this to make this cup in 1 hour. Who knows what goes into a successful blog post? Who knows what really caused something to go viral? We have we sort of have this idea and we go back, we say, well, it's because, the branding was, we don't know. We have no idea why people like stuff and it takes off. We're guessing still. And I think that's, and so I think that's what people are having a problem with. They're saying, okay, well, maybe we really don't know. Maybe we should go back to the things we do know.
That's a really good point. Know what you know and know what you don't know. But I think you really hit on something, Charles, as far as, not that this is a formula. I agree with you. It's one thing to build a car. Here's my guide. Not that I'm going to go build a car. I just don't have the patience for it. But you're right. If you're going to build a car, first of all, you need to be able to pronounce it. But then you probably have a guide on how to do it. And if you know anything, like you said, as far as the industrial age. But the digital marketing, that's something else. But you hit on something. You said you had a probably had a question asked of you. You went out and you made a video for that person. And Charles, I can say the same thing. The articles that have done the best on my blog, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like 2 articles on Facebook. I think one has to do with the birthdays, finding the upcoming birthdays. I mean, this is back in like 2011,
Yep.
but it still gets comments. It still
Yep.
gets hits. There's another one on the friend list or something. And both of them were questions people asked me. And I thought, well, instead of answering in a big long email, I'll make it fun, screenshots, made an article out of it. I get more hits to my website off those 2 articles that I haven't looked at personally since like 2015.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Get hits. So yeah, that's a really good point. So if you want to get a tip that you could probably use out of this episode of Marketing Momentum, is pay attention to the questions that are asked of you and see if you can turn it into a slideshare for people that don't want to, run out and make a video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you can do a Facebook Live. You can just put the camera in front of yourself. Do like I do. Get a nice, fun, pink wig or something. Yeah, even for you guys. There you go. You can be known as a guy with a pink wig. There we go. Be memorable anyway. I don't know the branding. Right, anyway, that's a whole other conversation. But go Facebook Live and answer the question. Maybe that will go viral. You can put it on YouTube. You can, short enough, 15 seconds, put it on Instagram.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is you have to do enough of them, right? So in other words, the only way you're going to have a really, and maybe that's, who knows what the right ratio is, because for everybody the ratio is different. Maybe 3 out of every 100 blog posts are going to go nuts, but you have to do the other 97. And I think now we're sort of at the point where people who sort of kind of felt like, well, okay, the formula said if I do this and I do that, I can start doing this in 10. And it's not that it's not even that the formula may not work. It's just that it takes 100, it takes 200, it takes 300, it takes and 300 every single day, right? So not even 300 over the next 10 years. It's like, okay, we got to be at this like every day, and it has to be consistent. And until those things are happening, you don't even get to those 3 that go viral.
That's like when you said that, I'm thinking like, I do a lot of writing. And I can probably write 5 mediocre articles in a day. But if I want to really put my heart into it, and I've got videos, I've got all these different media components, everything, that's half a day for that article, high quality. And I'm a fast writer, but it's like to really craft it and then make sure the SEO keywords are in there. And I mean, there's so many different components beyond writing. So that's only 2 articles a day. But even thinking that 10 articles a day, oh yeah, okay, maybe we got one day. I can't see 10 articles. Let's say we had one day. It's probably not happening the next day.
Right. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It's not, I mean, the whole thing is based on content and being, to some degree, whether you're working with somebody or for somebody or working for oneself, the internet is all about being a content factory. And so the question is, how can you do that consistently? I mean, I read this book by I think it's Ryan Holiday, the guy who wrote Trust Me, I'm Lying. And he's got a book out called, he has a good book, right? Yeah. He's got one out called Perennial Seller. And that's what he's talking about, right? He's just talking about what you described, which is the process of creation. There's the other part. I think this is the other part to this too. I think people are also discovering the process of creation really does take time, and it really does take effort. And despite what people are hearing, you can't really just throw something together. The early days of the internet, you could slap something up there and you could probably make some money with AdSense. It's harder to do that now and almost cost prohibitive in terms of time. If you're hiring a staff, cost prohibitive because you can't hire people to slap up stuff. So the only way to really do it increasingly is to really do it the right way. If you're going to have a bestseller, you can't there's no longer this magic that the internet does, that, okay, well, now it's the internet and I've got Kindle, so I can have a bestseller when all these other chumps, they're going to the publishing house. Maybe. Right? Well, you still got to go out market. You still got to have a presence, and the book has to be good. And so now, yes, it's a choice to do it on the internet, but it's not this grand, well, the internet's so much better and so much easier, it's democratized. It still takes a lot of effort, money, and take some time. And so all of those, I think those things it started willowing out some of the easy money.
That makes sense. I think you answered the question, Charles. Can bring it full circle to how we started. Okay, not me giggling and all these different comments for Hangout Toolbox, but the full circle as far as has the attitude changed? Have we become more sober in our thinking? I think you just answered it as far as personally, I feel like the internet has become just as difficult as offline, if not more difficult, more responsibilities and things. When you cued that when you said something about like throwing something up there, I was looking at, I think it was Blogger, and I found my counterpart, you know, like my Blogger version of one of my sites, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my word, there's like 3 really small paragraphs, and that was a blog post. But back in the day, I remember, I think I was working in the financial industry, I was doing a music thing, and I thought, what do I do for a blog post? I mean, I know how to write, but what is a blog post, you know? And I thought, well, I'll just write what I'm feeling today about music, what I think about music in my I mean, now that would be the equivalent of what I'd put on Facebook for just a really quick post. Exactly. But back then, it was a little short, little blog post. And now I look at them, and what I'm writing is something that you would read in, not Good Housekeeping, not Playboy, but I mean, something you'd read like article format. Yeah, and I'm seeing that from, you know, Matthew Woodward does a lot of those on, I think it's matthewwoodward.co.uk. No, he did not pay me for a shout out, but he does some really awesome articles if you're into like SEO and stuff. Case studies, research, media items, you know, outlines, PDFs, you can download this whole thing. And it's like, that's not what we were doing back in the day when it was just this really quick blurb, the quick draft, or like WordPress has that on their dashboard when you install WordPress installation. You have this quick post, quick draft. No, the articles of today that I've seen in my peers
don't work anymore.
Nothing quick about them.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's changed. And with that, this is really abrupt. I was like, Charles, you brought that so perfectly full circle that I hate to, like, we start this, here we go. What's that song? Little kids in preschool, something round and round, little bus.
Oh yeah, the wheels of the bus. The wheels of the bus, right, yeah.
Round and round. Okay, I promise you, I am not drinking. I'm not on anything. I'm just happy to be alive. There we go. I'm happy to have purple hair. I'm happy to be talking to Charles. Okay, I'll stop while I'm not ahead. What is it? Somebody said, man, Deb's posts are really too candy coated. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. But hit your little, you know, move your little arrow back a little bit and hear what Charles just said at the end, because he did wrap up that whole question of what's happening on the internet, the attitude. In fact, better yet, just watch this video all over again. Thank you very much for the other video playing. Thank you, Charles, and thanks all for tuning in. We'll see you in the next Marketing Momentum with Charles and Deborah.
All right. Bye-bye, Deb. Bye-bye, everybody.